Welcome everyone to another episode of In the Hearts of Men podcast. And I'm here with my good friend
Kirby Freeman.
And my name's Robbie J. Bone.
Or Robert, as some may call you.
Yeah, some call me Robert. Few call me Robert.
How many?
Not many, actually. It's quite rare. However, more people may start calling me Robert.
So what are we going to dive into today, Robert?
Well, Curb, you don't mind if I call you that, do you?
Not at all, brother.
Perfect. So today we're talking about consent. And we're talking about consent. Specifically, this started as a conversation that Curb and I were sharing about. And it was about specifically in intimate relationships, when we have a charge or we just have something that's, whether it's a charge about each other with your partner or whoever it might be, or a charge in life, to ask for consent before bringing it. And we were just talking about how much easier it is to receive that. And for us, if our partners or beloveds have an energy that's charged, if they come with consent saying, hey, do you mind if I share this with you? Then it's a lot easier to receive it than if it just comes out like kind of guns blazing, so to speak. Or if there's that anger or frustration and it just comes out in a raw way, then it can kind of, I know from my experience, I can be knocked off guard. I can be more sensitive to it. It can be easier to take it personally. And it can just lead to a bit more unnecessary chaos. Whereas if there's a sense of, hey, I have a charge or some frustration I want to express, then I can find my center and kind of put up a bit of almost like a boundary that's healthy to be like, okay, I'm going to hold my center in this and not take it personally. Then it creates a much smoother dialogue and often is a lot healthier. So that's what sparked this conversation. We were just sitting here chatting about that. And we thought, what a great idea for a podcast. Because really these podcasts they're unscripted. They're not particularly planned. We usually follow our intuition and just chat for a bit. It's a beautiful time for us to spend together as friends. And we often have a catch up about life. And then we follow our hearts with what's in our heart today, what's in the hearts of these two men. And so what would you like to share about that? What's alive for you in this topic, in this moment?
Yeah, it's a big topic. And consent, there's implied consent, there's agreement fields. They all play into whether or not an action that is being taken is or is not consensual. And for me, with consent, when I do have the choice and I consent to something, I'm more open to it, be it something that is pleasant, negative, or neutral, right? So when I look at it in a deep way, especially when it's potentially negative or triggering for me, as you recently mentioned, it's important to have consent to go into that topic field, and it's much more easily received and processed because of the spaciousness and the filter that has been put on by the person who is sharing and also the person that is receiving. So it's complex, and it's a beautiful way to navigate conflict in a relationship. And if, there's an invitation to look at all the times in my life, in Robert's life, and the lives of all the viewers, and feel where they have not both asked for consent in doing something and look at the outcome, and where they have not been asked for consent, and feel that in your body and how that felt for you when you actually would have wanted consent. I teach my children consent, and I have since a very young age, so that they have consent when somebody is, they don't have it, but it's a need of theirs before somebody touches them, before somebody, goes deep in conversation with them in a certain way. So it's I feel really important and a fundamental for education and for our evolution as like a species, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what I've found about consent is that it recognizes autonomy and sovereignty and the God-given authority of free will. And the power of free will, when we honor it, is freedom for ourselves and others. So if we're superseding someone else's free will, it may feel like we're just free to do as and say as we wish. However, that's not true freedom. True freedom is, when I was talking with this with Katie, actually, my beloved, last night, about how in relationship, often if it's like freedom is for everyone. So it's like if I'm doing something and I feel free in it, but it takes away from her freedom, then there's something that needs to be looked at. Like true freedom brings freedom for all, kind of thing. So we were talking about this in the context of like, let's say in some relationships someone might be like, oh well, I want to just be able to like be free and flirt with whoever I want. But then the other person, that goes against what they feel they want to choose in their relationship, and it goes against an agreement or a needed agreement, then that other person might be like, well, I'm going to do it because I'm a free person, I get to do what I want. But then the other person's suffering and struggling and it doesn't work for them, then that freedom is not grounded in mutual respect and love. So it's not actually bringing true freedom to either person. Whereas if the freedom is agreed upon, like it's a open relationship or something of that nature, then both people get to enjoy that freedom because it's valued by both of them. Whereas in a monogamous relationship, freedom is not, it's different. It's not just being able to flirt with whoever you want. It's the freedom to show up in the relationship and honor each other, and the freedom that comes from like a devoted love and the satisfaction that that brings. And it's a different flavor of freedom. So we were talking about that. It's a nuanced subject. That said, like, what comes up for me is that honoring of free will and the honoring of freedom. So one of the things that I've found is that when I ask for consent to share something, or someone else asks for consent, not only does it invite that person to have choice in it, because it may be uncomfortable, or it may be a request that they're not ready to receive, it also brings me or the other into a state of deeper presence. It brings both of us into it. Because if let's say I have a charge and I want to bring it to someone, it could be anyone, and I say, hey, I have a charge, do you have space to hold it? Then it brings me into a deeper state of mindfulness around my charge. So I'm not just word vomiting, I'm not just speaking the trigger. And it also prepares them to be like, okay, I'm going to be more present. Robbie, has something to share. Okay. And that presence brings a natural boundary that's healthy. And it also brings a deeper sense of love to the container, because presence and love tend to go together. So that simple act has such a deep impact because of the presence it brings. Consent.
And there are places where consent just isn't used, you know, and somewhat understandably, like social gatherings. It's like it's really challenging to be in a social atmosphere or ecstatic dance or something and ask somebody if you can ask them a question, right? So there's like, but I feel strongly that if there's ever any weight behind something, the more presence that we can bring to it. And I really like what you shared there in the asking brings both of the individuals into greater depth. And that's not just depth of presence, it's depth in your body because you're feeling, which is also presence. But it's beautiful, that process. It's feeling more, feeling deeper, and allowing for us to be seen in deeper ways. And it creates, for me, it creates a lot of peace and ease moving forward and moving through it. And the repair, if it's something negative, happens at a quicker rate. So it's just a win on all fronts in the relationship dynamic.
Yeah, because often, like we've talked about that repair in relationship, and it's something that's so important to remember and to build as a skill, because a relationship is going to need repair again and again and again. Just like you use your car and you need to get new brakes or get the oil changed or get the timing belt changed or whatever, right? Like, it's just how life works. It's how nature works. The body needs more rest at times. And so relationships will go through their ebbs and flows, ups and downs, and ruptures and repairs. And the skillfulness of bringing these things with presence is so beautiful because it creates space for repair rather than deeper rupture.
And trauma.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And one of the books I've talked about before in this podcast is Fierce Intimacy by Terry Real. And that book is so wonderful. I've just finished listening to it, actually. I don't even think it's a book. I recently found out it's just a talk, but it's basically a book because it's formatted like a book. Anyways, I just finished listening to it, and he talks about the adaptive child and how the adaptive child is the reactive self. Like, when we get into reactivity, our adaptive child comes online, and that adaptive child tends to have a lower emotional intelligence. It's not going to be coming from the same adult centeredness. It's going to be reactive, basically. And once we're in the reactive child, it's like the fight or flight or freeze response. It's like the switch gets flipped. And if one person's in their adaptive child, it's not ideal, but it's manageable. But if both are, it's game over. And what I've found is, like, if we can bring that presence, then we have a much higher chance of just not going into that. Or if we go into it, we notice it, and then we can do what we need to bring it back into right relations, such as walking away or taking some deep breaths, or however that might help you to get out of it. So it's such an important part of it, because when we bring a trigger or a charge or something that might be hard for someone to hear, there's a high chance, if it's shared from that place, it can have a triggering effect. So then we don't want to trigger the other person, or then it's two adaptive children.
Which creates a longer period of disconnection, right? And makes the repair more challenging. When our goal is to increase our fluency in repairing, knowing that repair is necessary in all things.
Yeah. And yeah, I think about, for me, like, when I have those charges, often my work has been to learn how to reveal them rather than withhold them. And some people, their work is to learn how to withhold a little bit long enough to, like, get that center before sharing, right? So it's like some people are kind of walled off. Like, for me, I would be more walled off in that sense, where, like, maybe I'm having a trigger or resentment or something's inside of me, and then learning how to reveal that.
Is that like a shutdown response?
Yeah, a shutdown. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas others, their response is the opposite. It's like fire to come out, guns a-blazing kind of thing. So for me, my work has been to learn how to reveal rather than withhold. And I found that this creates a really beautiful space for that, because we shut down. I know that I shut down in the past, and when it happens now, from a place of fear, from a place of the fear of reaction, the fear of not being received, the fear of, being rejected, and many fears. It's all fear-based. And that container is like, hey, I need to share something. Can you hold it? Then that person is now present. There's a sense of safety and presence in that, and there's a sense of, oh, okay, I can now reveal.
It's also a small step to revealing. It's like, once you say that I have something to reveal, it's like, just kidding, I'm not doing it. You can't go back, right? So it's like committing to it. And it's a small step without actually revealing that's hugely impactful. Yeah. I relate, because I am the similar, and my response in my past when triggered was shutting down as well. And the way was to find a micro step towards what I knew, maybe I didn't want to do, but what I knew was best for myself and higher self, which was to reveal. And it's micro steps will get you there as long as you take them.
Yeah. And I think we both in that relate to having the experience of having then a partner that is often polarized in the opposite, right?
Yeah.
Where, it's like a beautiful alchemy being with a woman who has more of a fiery energy, let's say, or more of that strong energy. And part of the training grounds is like we mirror each other, right? And helping her realize how to share with us where we can receive. Like I've often shared this with partners and also with men too, and people in my lives, like, hey, I can, like for me personally, like I can really receive your feedback and what you need to share. Like you don't have to get all fiery and intense. Like you can just share it in a calm and firm if needed way, and I'll receive it. Like you don't have to yell at me or come uncorked. And I think sometimes people need to hear that because sometimes they've been in relationships or they've grown up in environments where there was a belief that that was needed, or someone just didn't listen or didn't respect them and they had to get louder and louder and louder before the wall came down and the person finally listened.
That's most likely. It's a natural progression to escalation.
And it's like, hey, we don't need to escalate it all that way. We can actually just share in a grounded, loving container, and I'll receive your feedback and I love and care about you, so I will do what I can to bring it into right relation. And it avoids a whole cascade of unnecessary drama and suffering.
But to create that in our partners, like what I have done is I have set boundaries. I've set clear boundaries of if you have something that you feel could potentially be activating for me, check and see if I have space to receive it every time. Because if it doesn't happen, then, we talked about what the beneficial ways, but the challenging ways that it could go is into deeper trigger and a longer period of being disconnected, which is not what I want or any relationship typically wants. So why wouldn't we? Like the buy-in is really easy, So it's just a matter of how can you present it to yourself to buy into it and then start conducting yourself that way, right? And I'm hopeful that this is bringing some level of curiosity to the listeners of how can I approach hard conversations with my family, with my parents, with my children, with my partners, in an effort to maintain and create a deeper sense of connection.
Yeah, it's a beautiful reminder of the power of just speaking one's needs too and desires, because that's often where it's coming from. It's like there's an unmet need or a desire that wants to be shared, and often it can be shared with a gentleness and it can be received more easily, or there can be more desire. And it's like something I've seen too is where it can turn, what's called it turns a molehill into a mountain into a molehill. What is the expression?
Mountain, don't make a mountain
out of a molehill.
Out of a molehill.
Yeah. So basically what that expression means, moles are very strange creatures. And
yes, they are, Robert.
They're I remember there was a time when I was in South Dakota and I saw a mole creating a molehill. And it was at a Sundance ceremony.
Not a mountain.
It wasn't a mountain.
Okay.
It certainly was not. And the mole was going, and you could see the dirt pop up, and then he'd dig and the dirt would pop up. It was very cool, actually. So I've always had a deep love for moles. And in Lakota culture, actually, I'm going on a bit of a tangent.
I see that.
In Lakota culture, moles are very sacred because they can see in the dark through their inner vision, through their senses, through their intuition. so they have a lot of medicine and they know the medicine of the earth. So that said, I love moles, so I love that expression, don't turn a mountain into a molehill. I don't know the expression well enough to say it, but the essence of it. More focused on the moles than the hills.
Of course. I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
And the tangent was beautiful.
So really what I'm trying to convey here is if you haven't researched moles or looked, no, I'm just kidding. Really take some time to learn about them. Great creatures. And that if we have a charge and we bring it and we don't have that consent and presence, then it can turn a small deal into a big deal. It's unnecessary. Mm-hmm. Whereas when we bring the presence, even if it is a significant thing, we can then turn it, like, take away the charge and help it become manageable. Mm-hmm. And if it's like something small that's happened that's a strong reaction due to past experiences or whatever might be alive for the person, then by bringing it into a grounded, consensual container, we can then prevent it from spinning into something that's a total distortion of what the truth and reality of the actual event is, right?
And that's true, 100%. There's another part of this that we're not necessarily seeing right now, and that is the subconscious mind and the subconscious desire to create polarity through disconnection, which I feel would be wise for us to cover in another podcast episode, but that's another part. Subconsciously, often people want to disconnect to create polarity so that that level of desire and attraction is still there. And there's other ways to consciously create polarity so that we don't have to hurt the ones that we're with to create it, essentially.
Beautiful. Thank you for speaking to that. I thought we were going to talk more about mole medicine.
I kind of felt that that's what you're fixated on some moles.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you heard of voles?
I have.
Great.
Are they
similar to moles?
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh.
But with a V. You may have heard.
But are they like
vole?
I have heard the word. In my mind, I thought they were like a ferret-like creature.
No, ferrets are more part of the weasel family.
Right,
yeah.
But then there's also those white guys.
Badgers.
No, but they're part of the same family too, actually.
Those are weasels.
Actually, fun fact, skunks, not moles, skunks and badgers and otters, minks, weasels, they're all in the same family.
I knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
great fun fact.
Everyone else knows.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah.
So should we end it there?
Yeah.
All right, great.
Yeah.
Consent.
Thank you for listening. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask us, leave your comments and questions below. We'd love to hear from you. And anything else in closing that you'd like to share, Robbie?
Yeah, that feels complete beyond just the reminder of to hold this as an intention. This is a living practice, what we're talking about. This is, for me, something I've been practicing first as a total subconscious thing since my first relationship, and over the years just realizing I don't want to live in these kinds of relationships, and then what do I want to live in? And everything we're talking about is a living practice that starts with intention. It starts with feeling the pain of what doesn't work and then starting to be curious about what could work. And so wherever you're at on your path, may this spark an intention for you to create spaces for communication, to create pause before sharing, to ask your partner for consent and let go of entitlement around that. You know, we're not entitled to just share whatever we want whenever we want.
Or to do. It's not just sharing, it's doing. It's like physically touching someone or making love. There's a whole other...
Yeah. So there's lots more we could talk on this subject. And one is also the layers of consent, that like our mind may say yes. I know I've given consent before. And
when you shouldn't have.
Yeah, when I shouldn't have. Because my mind said yes, but then I didn't fully tune into my body. So there was part of me that's like, yes, I want to hold space, or yes, I want to, release this charge with you. But then my body was actually like, no, I need to be listened to. And then you're halfway through and like, oh no, there's a big part of me that's screaming no right now. And then that has a negative effect for everyone.
And consent is an ongoing conversation in something, right? It's like in that communication, consent can always be withdrawn. It's like, I'm no longer willing to sit in this. I need to take space for myself. And that is beautiful, and I celebrate that. Way rather that than sitting through something that's triggering you to a degree of further disconnection. Yeah. And it happens. I've done it. I said, that's enough. And I need to take space for me. And there's a whole process that I like to use around taking space and what that looks like to create safety in myself and my partner. And also to create that safety and also have the knowing that we're going to come back and address it. Because often people take space and they'll never talk about it again and just hope that it gets swept under the rug, or under the molehill.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And then it makes a mountain.
It's true. It starts building.
So, the one last closing thought is about, I go by Robbie. You know that.
I do know that.
And the reason I threw out Robert today, threw it out not like in the garbage throw out, but like threw it out into the conversation, is because I've actually been writing a book. And I've been considering using Robert J. Bone as my author name rather than Robbie J. Bone. It just feels a bit more authorish, So I figured I'd throw it out here to see how it feels.
It is more official feeling and sounding.
Right?
Yeah.
Like
Robert.
best-selling author Robert J. Bone.
Is it John, your middle name?
Jonathan.
Jonathan. Okay. My middle name's John.
A thin?
No. But I like Robert for your author name. Yeah, it feels more official.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that feedback.
You're welcome. And if you're curious about joining a men's group, we have space in our Monday group from 5:30 to 7:30 Pacific time PM, and would love to have a clearing call with you and get you on board. So let us know.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. And leave your feedback. What's your experience with consent? Do we go with Robert or Robbie as the author name?
I think Ribeye Robbie.
All right, Ribeye Robbie it is. Thank you for listening, watching, and we'll see you next time.
Adios.